Welcome, everybody. It's a sad day in Maui. It's Monday, August 14th, day 8 of our unfolding disaster here. And things are, from our point of view, where we live, kind of normal, which is one of the weirdest things about this whole experience for me. We'll talk more about how we are with all this in just a moment, but just first to welcome you all to the Open-Hearted Practice Group and a chance to live NBC together. So how are you?
I'm exhausted. I really am. I'm overwhelmed with what's happening, and I debated whether I was going to come today because I'm pretty tender, and I'm actually appreciating being able to see all of you and have that sense of community. So that's how I am.
Yeah, I don't feel exhausted in the moment. I actually feel kind of energized by seeing you all here. And I've experienced so much care and love from people over the last week. So many people that I haven't heard from in a while have reached out to us to check in on us. And I even went on Facebook. I haven't been on Facebook in I don't know how long. I usually avoid Facebook by the plague, but I went on just to reassure people we were okay, and that opened up some new channels of communication to relatives and so forth. So
Yeah.
I could see I could actually see a need met by Facebook, which is kind of healing. and yeah, tender is a good word to describe how I am. I was with a group of Japanese friends this morning, Japanese certification candidates, and that was very healing for me to have a sense of spaciousness and to really be caught in our morning together. So I thought we would do something similar today and have an experience of what it's like to be present in the face of loss. And so we'll kind of follow our normal pattern where there'll be a self-connection exercise in just a moment, and then we'll come back to the large group here and have a chance to hear from whoever wants to chime in, share your experience. Then we'll talk a little bit about mourning, and then we'll mourn together. I'm not quite sure what that's going to look like yet. We'll figure it out together. So let's just start with some self-connection. So you can do it with your eyes open or your eyes closed. I find it generally helpful for me to do it with my eyes closed. Just helps me stay more connected to my body, less distracted by the world. And as you close your eyes or move into the exercise with your eyes open, just set an intention for yourself. And the one I would suggest is to connect with yourself, to just be present with yourself without trying to cheer yourself up or change anything about your experience, just to be with your experience. And then to notice your breath. Breathing happens. You don't have to try to control it or make it deeper or longer or any of that, at least during this exercise. All those things can be helpful, but right now it's just about being with your breath. You can imagine that your breath is a little bit like a wave on the ocean that you can ride. So you can ride the breath in, and then there's like this peak of the air arriving, the transition to breathing out, and ride the breath out. you start thinking, just notice that. And if there's a thought that calls you, that's letting you know about a need that you need to attend to, then that's great. Fine. Follow that impulse, or put it on a shelf for the moment and return to the breath, practicing presence with breathing. Then imagine imagine that there's a friend in front of you, and this friend is celebrating something about their life, some need of theirs that's met. And as they're celebrating, you can easily catch and empathize with their feeling. Some version of gratitude or happiness or something along those lines. And just imagine that you can breathe their happiness into you, and that through that breathing, you can connect to their need. And then as you breathe out that need be reliably and abundantly met for your friend. So for example, if a friend said to you, oh, my dog was lost and I found it, or I was looking for my car keys and I found it, you might just catch their relief, their joy. So you breathe in relief and joy, connected to the need, which maybe is about ease or reassurance, and breathe out the need. Breathe in the feeling and breathe out the need. Just imagine they keep celebrating, and you keep breathing in their joy and breathing out whatever need you connect with. Breathing in the feeling, breathing out the need. And this time, as you breathe the need out, expand it to that not only this person get their need met reliably and abundantly, but that all beings have this need met reliably and abundantly. Breathing in joy, breathing out the need with a wish that all beings enjoy abundant access to those resources. Then notice as you let this next breath go and breathe out the wish, attune to your body and notice how your body is right now. Attending to your own sensations and emotions. Just with the quality of presence, space, focus. Just an open heart to your own experience, no matter what it is. And then as you connect to that feeling, follow it to the need that's alive in you right now. What's important to you in this moment? And whatever need you find, whether it has a word to describe it or not, there's an energetic quality to that need. And just surf that for a moment. Just allow yourself to be with that need, energy. And then consider as a final part of this practice, what would make your life more wonderful for the next hour and 45 minutes or so? What requests could you ask of yourself? Oh, we have mostly groups of 3.
Oh, yes. Want me to take it in?
I got it. And folks that put an equal sign in front of your name, you're all in what we call the library, just a quiet place to hang out. And you can move those folks
Yeah,
into
right.
triples. And so for 15 minutes, you get to hang out with each other and share whatever is alive in you when it's your turn to talk. So you might start by introducing yourself and where you're from, how you're feeling, what this exercise was like with you, for you, and then switch to somebody else and have at least one round where everybody gets to be heard. There's a chance to practice empathy and honesty. Empathy being the listening part of nonviolent communication, and honesty being the expression, saying what's really alive in you. So we'll do it for 15 minutes. There'll be 1 minute at the end to finish up the conversation. So do the best you can to share the time as equally as people would like. And we will see you back here in 15 minutes. There'll be 1 minute at the end to finish up your conversation. Okay. And we're ready to go. Oh, there's still one group of 2. It's just the way it is. Okay, see you back here in 15 minutes.
I don't know why I feel like I haven't slept. Interesting.
You did say you didn't sleep as much last night,
Oh,
so that
didn't
could
I?
be part of
Oh,
it.
yeah, yeah, there we are.
Here we come. Zoom. Well, I hope you enjoyed that leisurely check-in, chance to be with new friends, or maybe reconnect with other folks that you had met here before.
Yeah, I wonder if anybody wants to share anything.
Yeah, how are you now? What would you like to share in this moment with a large group? Yeah, Nancy, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to just do an encore thank you to Leslie, and I'm going to say this, Kinneret. I hope I'm saying it right, or Kinneret.
Yeah.
Kinneret. Okay. And yeah, just really helped me kind of focus on what a step for me, the next step for me is in a path that I'm on. So that was really, really helpful.
Oh, sweet. That's
Yeah.
community support.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Someone else like to share what's alive in you?
There's Kinneret.
As a heart.
Oh, that's a heart.
Yes. Go ahead.
I'm not firing in on all cylinders right now.
Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I just, I feel more anxiousness somehow. I felt, kind of in judgment of myself. It seemed like there was such great heart and empathy within the group and reflection. And I felt worried, concerned. I wasn't as kind to myself as I'd like, kind of judgmental, and so that kind of removed me from being in as much empathy and been able to reflect back as much as I like. So yeah. My need for competency, that's that word, competency.
Nice. Yeah. And so not only was your need for competence not met in the way that you like, but you were kind of rough on yourself about it, it sounds like.
Yeah, kind
of
jackal sweat energy. Yeah.
Sweat energy,
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe longing for some self-acceptance and self-compassion.
Sure. Yeah. And some and a flow of abilities, which I'm still looking for.
Yeah, aren't we all? Yeah.
A flow of reflecting back. Yeah. Instead of getting lost or discombobulated. Yeah, I get discombobulated. There we go. Yeah.
Discombobulated. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah.
Welcome to my world right now.
Oh my God. I bet.
Is that your new nickname,
Wow.
Bob?
Bub.
Bob for discombobulated?
Bub.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
Anything else, Rob, or is that complete?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Tanya? Whoops, Tanya, you're muted.
Well, sometimes that's for the best. I'm going to kind of go off topic and say how much Aloha spirit has been transmitted to the mainland about how you guys are all winking together and helping each other out. And it was even noted, someone said on the radio, they were saying that people had just been offering help, and once the Red Cross showed up and wanted everybody to go buy the book, there sort of was sort of a reaction to it. Like one doctor had been working tirelessly helping people, and suddenly the Red Cross comes in and says, you can't help people till you register with the Red Cross. And it was sort of, that, but what we're hearing is how much everyone is pulling together and helping each other. And, just like you, Joy, going out and bringing food and water to people because you can. And I love it. I love the rest of the country getting to see that on display. I hate what's happened to you all, but I love that we get to hear the response.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been very inspiring watching the community response to this. I think the word that most comes up for me is amazement over some of the stories that I've heard. And I have a lot of compassion for you, Rob, with your with your story that maybe you're not doing it enough or doing it good enough, because that's what's going on for me a lot of the time. Is like I hear these stories of incredible service, and my comparison jackal kicks in, and I think I should do more, and so forth. And then, you know, with a little empathy or self-empathy, then I realize that I don't have to do it all. I can just do my little piece, and everybody else is doing their piece. And it's going to be, you know, someone said on maybe the first or second day of all this, that it's going to be a marathon and not a sprint. And so I really want to remember that this is going to be a long-term recovery process, maybe a decade, maybe longer. And so we're at the very beginning of something that we're going to need a lot of love and support here in Maui for especially the people of the west side. Also a little bit in Kula as well. There was damage. That's upcountry for those of you who have been in Maui. There were three or four active fires at one time on Tuesday night when the hurricane winds were whipping through, and our daughter Jaya was due to go down to Kihei, which is on the south side of the island, and she was going to house sit for a friend who was leaving the island that evening to go to the mainland. And so after Jaya dropped her off at the airport, she started driving down to Kihei, and she reported soon after she got there what a strange experience it was for her, because it was as if she was driving into the fire, which is what she was doing. And so when she got to our friend's house and she went into the house and made sure the cats were okay and so forth, she looked out the window and she could see flames, you know, out through the window, not like right in the backyard or anything, but from easily could see the flames. And she called us up and she said, "What should I do?" I says, "Well, what do you think you should do?" She says, "I think I should come home." I says, "I think you should come home too." And so she got back in the car. She made arrangements for the cats to be taken care of by a tenant that was going to live there. And sure enough, 30 minutes later, they were evacuated. So Jaya's intuition turned out to be right. Nothing happened to their house. The firefighters were able to control that particular blaze. And so no houses were lost in that friend's neighborhood. But Kihei, Lahaina, of course, is a different matter. I'm sure you've seen the images on video or the internet or Facebook or whatever. It's absolutely devastating. And so this is triggering lots of feelings for people, and probably every feeling on the list people are having, often in close order, because loss hurts. It hurts to lose something. It's our body's natural response to an unmet need, and is to feel pain. And so it hurts our bodies. And what I have appreciated about my NVC practice this week is as I'm not resisting the grief. I'm not resisting the mourning. I'm probably more than any other loss that I've experienced. Of course, all human beings experience loss various times in their life. I think I'm resisting my own pain less than more. I'm resisting it less than I ever have, in a more holistic way, more self-compassionate way, taking care of myself, finding ways to practice what we preach. And one of the time-tested strategies for mourning, besides empathy and self-empathy, which we'll practice a little bit here in a minute, is service. People who give compassionately in the face of loss tend to have much higher levels of resilience than others. And
Yeah.
so finding any way to give, whether it's money or time or prayer or whatever the energy is, will support your own resilience, and that your resilience supports everybody.
Yeah, so that's what I did today. I got in the car and I drove down and I brought food and I brought clothing and things like that. And I wonder if anybody's willing to give Jim and or I a passive empathy right now.
Yeah, what are you hearing? How would you like to? Is that a fresh hand, Tanya, or is that an old hand? Yeah, go ahead, Tanya.
What I'm hearing is grief and deep pain, and also hearing how you're letting it in, Jim, and I'm hearing how you and Joy are responding with giving and allowing in, to allow the pain in, and just experience it in a more holistic and human way, and that it's actually a healing experience for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that
That's like
lands.
a salve for me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Tanya.
Thank you.
Janelle?
Hey. So I really heard this kind of, these two things happening at the same time. There's this, watching people grow. So your daughter, stepping into her intuition and trusting herself, and this sense of amazement at the community and people's response in this time of such difficulty, balanced with this sadness and this loss and this grief around the people that are part of your community that are very dear to you in terms of where you live.
Yeah.
I think there was one more thing that was it was the gift that this experience is giving you in terms of your own practice, and allowing that pain to be felt.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Thanks, Janelle.
Thank you.
Mickey?
Thank you.
Hi, yes. So for you, Jim, you are feeling pain, and yet you are not resisting the pain ever before, and feeling grief and be with grief with more holistic way and open-hearted way and self-compassionate way. Mm.
Yeah. Thanks.
And yeah.
Thank you.
And for Jory, for you, you are embodying the wisdom of how to give in the face of loss. So you went to get food and all these service that you're embodying that is soothing the pain. Did I get you guys right?
Thank you.
Patricia?
I'm wondering if you have a need for integrity with your practice and with the principles of NVC, and also if you're needing maybe some hope.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That last bit really landed for me. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Patricia. Rob?
Yeah, I wonder if you're both just, feeling heartbroken about, feelings you haven't felt in so long or so deep that, it's pain you hadn't imagined maybe, and yeah, some healing, would be wonderful. And yeah, maybe even devastated, devastated for what's going on. So, and yeah, need for hope and yeah, healing.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, before I go to Jeff, I just wanted to say that every day I have a practice of mourning. I, for better or worse, I don't know if it's good for my mental health or not, but I spend time in the morning reading, I call it the daily blues, the internet news stories on my iPad. And it's like these micro moments of mourning. So I'll read about something and I'll have this like, okay, yeah, that happened, and just try to let it in. But the scale of this is off the charts. I mean, I watched so many wildfires in the United States and Canada this summer, and COVID thing, and war in Ukraine, and so many things to mourn. But there's something exquisitely painful about having it happen 40 miles away. And to see another layer of my grief is the part that not my direct ancestors, but people that looked like me, we play a part in this fire because of colonization. We had the idea that we would come in and we would plant sugarcane and pineapples and appropriate Hawaii for the government. And then pineapple and sugar went away, and non-native grasses took
just
over.
Left fallow,
yeah. And non-native grasses came in, which Europeans brought in to feed cattle and so forth. And they spread, and we get rainy winters. These grasses go crazy. They're not tropical. They're not really designed for Hawaii. And then the summer fire season comes, and so every year it's gotten worse and worse and worse. And so it's like layers of outrage that we let this happen in our ignorance. Yeah, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you for being willing to touch on the pain that you're having and to share that with us. Thank you also for the demonstration of how to ask for empathy. And that was powerful for me. I had a reaction when you started talking about service as a means of grieving. I've done a lot of service and felt a lot of the pain of, like, the endless nature of this type of situation. And then when you said it being 10 years, it might be a decade or long-term rebuilding. And I just felt a lot of connection with that sense of like overwhelm, and there's more than I can do. And then I really also appreciated that you said, I can just do my part, my little part. And that was all. I appreciated the modeling that I saw in that.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. I really catch a lot of resonance in what you share with me. Yeah. And I'm amazed at how even little things can matter at moments like this, like a kind word at the grocery store. I had a amazing connection with a grocery store worker yesterday, and somebody next door is this kind of social network thing that we use here to keep track of neighbors and find lost pets and stuff like that.
that's a service.
And somebody wrote that there's a need for propane tanks. And so I have three propane tanks, and the guy is pulling up the driveway any minute to pick up these propane tanks so that people can get food and cook their food tonight. And so really meaningful to have those little bitty things that can help. Sarah Joy.
It's also meaningful to have you all here, have that sense of being held.
Thank you, Jim and Jory, for the chance to offer empathy in this very tragic and scary and devastating tragedy. And I can hear the great need and the pain behind it in wanting to contribute in big ways and in any ways that you can. And I hear that, the tears and the when you're able to, just the 3 propane and what it means to contribute, that people will be able to eat, because so many people have lost so much. And I imagine that you might have felt helpless watching things happen so quickly and not being able to do anything to stop, and feeling maybe guilty because you have and your family ended up being safe, and so many people lost so much. And
You got it. Yeah.
it must be really, really hard to hold all of that sadness and grief. And I hear acceptance in the ways that, you maybe, Jory, you did the physical driving over and dropping off things, and now you're tired and you realize you can't do any more right this minute. And so some acceptance in knowing that you've contributed, and Jim, just knowing, that you're not the only one there to contribute, and no one person can really make the big difference that's needed at this time, that it is going to extend over time, and that people are amazingly offering their help and their aid, and it sounds like it's very healing to see your community, and neighbors doing that, and people from all over the world who are trying to contribute, but really the immediate kindness that you're watching and witnessing. So that must bring healing tears to your grief.
Thank you. Yes.
Including all the things you named and you naming them. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know what magic will come from these little connections, like the guy that I connected with about the propane tanks. And he said, I've never met him before. I don't know anything about him, but he said, and I want to talk to you about this NVC thing too. Because he called me and I didn't answer the phone and left a message, and I said something about NVC on my message. And so who knows, maybe there'll be a chance to share NVC with somebody here, or maybe he's got some idea about how we could go in and offer empathic support or something like that. We don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. Thank you, Sarah Joy. Allison? You're muted.
I just want to begin by saying when I knew that I could come to this NVC meeting with Jim and Jory, and the gathering of like-hearted people, I just, to have a place that it was safe to weep, and it was such a gift to me, and I felt so secure in it because I knew Jim and Jory, and this whole beautiful group of people of such good-hearted, genuine, good-hearted intention, and the desire to find a way to act on those intentions and aspirations in this beautiful way at NBC. And I'm just very grateful to you and to everyone who's here. And I have a home to go to, and a place that's safe to cry. So, thank you.
Thank you, Allison. Yeah. And a fellow Hawaiian resident, Harmony. I'll go next.
Yeah, Jim and Jory. Oh, I just want to, I'm just in a lot of gratitude right now to listen to you so close over there. I'm one island away, but I feel you and I'm in it with you. And I'm just hearing a lot of need right now to have empathy because it's overwhelming and devastating. And that, I think I was hearing maybe some, like, you touched upon like maybe your ancestors or colonization there, or just the way it's unfolded, and that there's like some remorse around that. And that when you're in this vulnerable place, that the awareness and the growth in it, you're open to that. And like a surrendering. And it's like, I don't know, it just sounds like it's bubbling up even more purpose for you. Like there is a need for that contribution and the purpose in what you're doing. And ultimately to just have the trust and safety and love in your community, and for all the people and how they're suffering. Yeah, and my heart just goes out to you because it's a little PTSD for me, because we went through it with the lava and some of the pitfalls and the emergency that had happened over here. I get worried about how they're happening over there. And I don't know. I was, happy to see some Big Island folks come over there and kind of lend some insights about the incident for that. And I just feel in it with you, and I appreciate your vulnerability in this moment to just be authentic together in our group today. I really appreciate that. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, our Nima, you had your hand up and then it went down. Is there something still alive in you? Our Nima?
Yes, yes, Jim. Yes, I had my hand up, and I just wanted to say that I heard this is relating to the ancestors and the planting of the grass, and I heard some anger. I heard a lot of pain. I heard some guilt, and I heard some shame as well. So I'm just wondering how it feels to name those, and how would it feel to have some self-empathy. And it's such a big thing to see happening in front of you.
Yeah.
I just wanted to let you know that I heard you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the piece that really lands for me more than all the details of it. I sense your care. Thank you.
I experience it as nutrition for my soul and for my heart. All of the reflections that I've heard from you all, and the interesting thing that happens in my consciousness is that empathy awakens gratitude. Like I'm learning to grow a heart big enough to hold the pain of all these seemingly infinite unmet needs in the moment, and yet to be to recall all of the acts of kindness that are also happening. People coming from other islands, volunteers coming from the United States, firefighters and grief counselors and people from all over the world offering advice and support. And it's just, there's a lot of gratitude in me for how loved Maui is by the world. And we need that love now. Tracy?
So what I was hearing, what I have heard is because of the proximity and the enormity of this problem, there is a survivor's guilt of that you're still living your normal life, and yet people so close are having such extreme hardship. And then there was generational regret. And that kind of played off of some of the things Aromina had just said. And I really resonated that you were able to savor those incredibly painful feelings. Like, we're really good at celebrating and savoring the positive things that happen, but being able to sit in that uncomfortable place and just let it, taking the time to let it ride, I think is a great, wonderful modeling. And then I really appreciated the hope that you just told us with the possible new connections you're making and the growth of NBC in your community and the connections you're going to make. And that feels exciting at the same time. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Who knows what might arise from this? So yeah, Kinneret.
Kinneret.
Really? After all these years, I'm trying to.
Kinneret. Okay, got it. Kinneret.
Okay.
Good.
Two N's. So I heard that there's an appreciation along with the pain and the devastation and the shock. And there's an appreciation and a hope for the spirit of community and the love that with devastation, there's also such an incredible inpouring of love. And I'm appreciating that right now you are allowing yourself to be vulnerable with this community and to receive an outpouring of love.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm glad I can do that.
Yeah.
It's very
It really is.
yeah.
And also, I think I heard you say before that this practice is grounding.
Yeah.
There's something that feels grounding and somewhat connected and stable with a community of people that comes together over time and is there to support each other and you when you need it. Yeah, allowing yourself to be seen.
Yes.
And heard and
Thank you.
held.
Yes. There's this image in my head of threads that each of you is connected to me like a thread, along with all these other people in the world that whose lives have intersected with mine at some point. And for some reason, when tragedy like this happens, we want to pull on the thread and let one another know that we're with you. And that's really has happened a lot this last week. I've heard from people that I haven't heard from in a long time. And it's just, it's so sweet to know that somehow we reside in their consciousness and vice versa, even though we might not have seen one another in a long time. So thank you for mourning with me. And I want to give you guys a chance to practice too. So can you make sure there's 3 per group and
Yes, something
move
like
Jeff?
that.
So I would like you to have the experience to mourn and to catch one another in small groups as well. And so again, it'll be like groups of 3. And
3 and 2 or 3 and 4, which would you like?
yeah, 3s and 4s is fine. And the idea would be that you don't need to mourn about Maui necessarily. If that's the mourning that's alive in you, that's fine. You don't even need to mourn if mourning is not alive. The idea is that you be authentic with one another, whatever's alive in you, and that whoever else is in your group is holding presence and space with a focus on your feelings and needs. And it might look similar to what we did, where somebody might talk for a minute or 2, or I probably went on for like, I don't know, so felt like forever. And then somebody reflected it back. And then I get to notice what that's like to really let in your resonance and your empathy. And then somebody else can have a turn and share what's alive in them in the presence of empathy. Maybe there's no verbal reflections. Maybe it's just presence and space that's offered, or maybe there are verbal reflections. Whatever, this is a chance to follow your own intuition. And so we'll do it for 20 minutes. So we have time to talk about it at the end and find out what it was like for you to have this experience of empathy and honesty. So with that, let me set the timer here for 20 minutes. And I'm going to go stretch my legs and dry my eyes, and we'll be back in 20 minutes. Okay. Okay, so I suggest that we take just a couple of minutes and go back to breathing after to transition from that experience into the next. So just return to the breath. Stretch your body if you need to stretch it. Stretch your neck, your shoulders, and focusing on the breath. Then I'd like to invite you to reflect on the last 20 minutes. And first, reflect on and perhaps write a journal entry, a brief journal entry. What worked for you? What did you do that you think supported connection during that last during the last 20 minutes, or for the whole call for that matter? What did you do that supported connection that you're celebrating? another minute or so of reflection on what went well. What are you celebrating in terms of connection? Second. Okay.
Okay.
Another county heard from. So now open your heart to mourning. Did you do or say or not do or not say something during the last 20 minutes or so that brings up some mourning or some regret in you? Is there something you wish you could do over, in other words? Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Just think about that, maybe do some writing about it for the next couple of minutes. One more minute to reflect on this. And see if you can hold yourself with compassion. If you have a do-over, see if you can hold yourself with compassion. In other words, imagine saying something compassionate and loving to yourself. Say it to yourself with a quality of warmth and care, acknowledging that you're doing the best you can. And no matter what you say or don't say or don't do or how you say or do it, that you're always doing the best you can in the moment to meet needs. And I'd love to hear some reflections from people about what you learned from this experience today. especially the last 20 minutes or so. So if you'd be willing to raise your hand. Harmony?
Yeah, thank you for that. I really got to see and practice more of listening skills today. That really deepened my ability to have connection. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Somebody else? So-
Hand up with Ron.
Yeah, Ron. Oh, yeah.
I'm really grateful for my teammates in fact, I'm thrilled. My teammates helped me support to arriving at my prayer for Maui. And that what I shared with them was that right now we're totally in the grief of our hearts, and that time will progress. You mentioned years, Jim, but it's probably of soon the head will start coming in. There will be this struggle individually and collectively, the head versus the heart. The head being, where my trauma of, am I safe? Is my money okay? Will I get my house? Where are my kids going to go to school? And you did it. I see there's two lawsuits already fired, where the head tries to take care of and maybe even forgets the heart. And the heart meanwhile says, well, what about life? What about, our culture, our Hawaiian culture that got trampled on? What about our neighborhood and our families and our loss of life? And I can, first of all, being an owner of a condo on Maui, I can feel that myself. For example, I own a condo right where the roads stop for access to at Maulea. And so we have people teeming through our lots. We've been, providing water and some food and all that. And I've offered short-term lodging. And then my head comes up, well, what about renting the condo, which you've always done weeks after weeks? And there's this head then afterwards. But we know there'll be this government and these organizations, and then there'll be the people and us with the hearts. And there will be this incredible journey that we're all taking together. For example, in my case, yeah, for short term, you give people shelter. But in the longer term, we'll have to have tourists come to Maui to live. 50% of our jobs are dependent on tourism. So other than Lahaina, we'll have to welcome people for our well-being. So there we'll go forward with the greed or the head or the organizations and the individuals and the culture. Well, now it's flat, maybe we can revive more culture. And so I ended up with, well, what can I do? What's the service? And it's like, well, we have these actions, but I don't know. It came to this really big place of NVC is a power, it's a place, it's a intention, it's a stream that can be offered. Each individual, as I walking down the street, just in their eyes with the intention of all your needs are met. All your needs are met. All your needs are met with an intentional look into their eyes without words. And my prayer now is every day, NVC in some way enters every transaction on Maui. And that to me is exciting.
Yeah.
Whether it's a government interaction or the church and their people, or I know we have 80 people with condos. Can you imagine all 80 people? Come on, we can arrive at a solution that supports everything, and every day in every transaction in some way.
Amen. Amen to your prayer, Brother Ron. And may we navigate this in a way that stays focused on human needs and compassion. Yeah. Thank you. Somebody else? David.
Hello. Yes. What resonated with me a lot was when you're talking about colonialism and imperialism. And my mother's from South Dakota, and remember when we were kids, in the station wagon going to Wounded Knee and Little Bighorn. One was a victory and one was a loss, a defeat. And just remember the colonialism and imperialism related to wildlife and the environment. And then as an adult, having spent about 20 something years of my life in production agriculture, ranging all the way from layer production to laying hens to feed yards and confinement units of swine, and corn and soybean farming, and having participated in activities that were invasive and knocked stuff out of balance. It's pretty hard for me to, to sit and think about. I always said I got my master's in agriculture, but I divorced farming at the age of 40 and became a social worker and a school teacher. And I don't regret it. I'm retired now. So I did that for almost 20 years, social work and teaching and helping prevent professions. I almost feel like it was an act of penance for, having participated in a form of capitalism that I considered very destructive. So I feel that pain. I feel that. So thank you for letting me share.
You're welcome. Sounds like you and me are in the same boat with building a heart big enough to hold both met needs and also suffering. Leslie?
Yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge the enormity of the powerlessness that we have over what we call climate crisis and unpredictability of these fires. And I live in a very high fire zone, and I still have evacuation fatigue, and so this group has brought up a lot of stuff for me. But the overwhelm and the longing, the like deep longing for safety and predictability, that seems impossible right now, given the way the world is. But I think the bottom line is like this longing for safety. So thank you. And thank you for the authenticity of, both of you today.
You're welcome. Yeah. Rob? Whoops, for some reason I can't hear you, even though you're not muted. I'm not hearing you. Can't hear you, Rob. No,
Your sound is not working.
strange.
Yeah.
Nope. I just heard something. Let's try it now.
How about now?
Perfect.
Sometimes you say you want to keep things a little lighter. Is it okay to go to the depths here? Is that all right? I mean,
Keep in mind, we only have about 10 minutes left, but yes, go as deep as you need to go, Rob.
yeah, there was one member was talking about, it got so bad for a young woman that she threw herself in a river, just to end it all. It was so painful, just not even having enough food to eat. And that kind of stroked in me how I, in my personal life, is very vulnerable with my daughter's well-being. And I'm really just seeing this week that, kind of praying for more autonomy myself, and autonomy and freedom, because people, we're all together in one boat, but some might sink. You don't want to go with them. It's like there are joys to live for. So,
Yeah,
So,
I catch the pain of that and the dilemma of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we just take 30 seconds just to hold that with some silent empathy. You can breathe in sad feelings too. Connect them to the need and breathe out the need in the same way we did at that first exercise. Breathing in pain and breathing out the need. Thanks, Rob. Tanya?
Just a strong appreciation for the group practice, the group experience, and your open-hearted willingness to hear the beauty in everyone's reflection and giving everyone a chance to be part of the whole. And I appreciate you for that. And both of you, Jim and Jory, the beauty of this way, you know, the blessing of this way that we've chosen in DC. So thank you.
Truly my pleasure. I feel very grateful to have this experience with you all today, to be held by you, to be loved by you, to be empathized with you. Certainly the world that I want to live in, that I've been working to create with your help. Kinneret.
Okay, I want to hear your last name right from your mouth.
My last name is Sherman.
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 Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yes.
My first name is Kinneret.
Kinneret.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thanks.
I'm appreciating this community, appreciating having a space to come to where people are, you know, putting in time to be with one another and allow whatever comes when it comes as life comes. And so I find it very precious. And I find myself in gratitude for all the people here and their dedication and commitment to grow their heart muscles and to want to come and connect and support and hear and be heard. And I'm really grateful to you, Jim and Jory, for having this practice on a consistent basis where we know that we can drop in when we can or when we need to hear one another. And I am so grateful and completely ditto Tanya's observation. So appreciative, Jim, of you're connecting with every person and what's been going on for them. It's been so nourishing and filling for my heart.
Yummy, yummy, yummy. Thank you. It's been a very nutritious experience. Yeah. So we're got time for one more. If you've been waiting to be the last person, that time has arrived. So if there's something waiting to share, this would be a good time to do it. Yeah, Isabel.
So I'm winning the lottery now. Just wanted to share that at some point my husband was saying how had the war in Korea not broken and had his parents not come, he would not have been born and there would be no us, no know my son. So we're all consequences of atrocities of history or something happening. And so whilst we are, yes, my country has suffered a lot as well, like every other countries. But the reason we remember is not to vindicate, but choose differently. Just as we are learning here to choose to feel the pain as opposed to numb ourselves. Which is so often when we're in pain, we just don't feel anything. It's our body's mechanism to stop. And only when we can start breathing as we did today, we get in touch. And it hurts to remember pain. Tears come. But at MBC, we learn to do it in a safe environment. And why? Because only when we feel the pain can we also rejoice and feel the joys. Otherwise, we end up narrowing, as we all know, the feeling level to good and bad. Whereas there are so many diverse menus of feelings. And by awakening mourning and allowing ourselves to do it, we learn to choose life in its entirety, celebrate life, mourn. And I wanted to share that.
Thank you, Isabel. Yeah, I really like being awakened again to that Maui is not the only place with suffering right now. That there are people suffering all around our planet from a list of problems. And I do have a faith in our human resilience that we can find a way to solve these problems and find a way to, I'm going to stay committed to my vision, which is a world in which everyone's needs could be met reliably and abundantly. I know we can do it. I know we can do it. If we can put a man on the moon, we can meet everybody's needs reliably and abundantly. So it's just a matter of political will and individual will. So with that, we transition towards the end of our time together today. As those of you who come often know, we do this on a donation basis. And today we would like to invite you to donate. If you have a need to contribute, please donate to the Maui Food Bank. It's an extremely reliable charity here. 95% of the money that they take in goes to direct food, feeding people. They have a very low overhead, which is pretty remarkable for a nonprofit of that size. There's also, I know less about it, but there's also the Hawaii Community Foundation, which is collecting money to support lots of different projects in the rebuilding. There's lots of ways that you can help Maui. I like going straight for food because food gives us the energy that we need to do the other work, food and water. And so if you have a need to give, please give generously to the Maui Food Bank. And rather than a one-time gift, consider $25 a month or $25 a week. Like we mentioned earlier, it's going to be a long haul. And so Maui's gonna need a lot of help for a long time. So if you feel led to contribute, please consider the Maui Food Bank. And if you do give, please let us know that you did it so that we can celebrate and savor your gift. I already know that one of our members here has donated to the Maui Food Bank. And then she also sent us a very generous donation that we have paid forward to people that need it. And so we're happy to do that as well. And Joy, do you want me to put this one up? Oops, this is upside down. This thing?
Sure.
Yeah, you want to talk about that?
No, you do it.
Okay, Jory loves to talk to people.
Not so well, I'm not doing it so well right in this moment, so he's going to talk for me.
Yeah, but if you want to make an appointment and connect and practice honesty and empathy with Jory, you can make an appointment at jory.youcanbook.me.
And if you're needing some sense of empathy, actually, that might be a way to support me as well, to be able to contribute to you.
Last link for today is, and I saw a hand up. I want to go to Tracy. Oh, it's Tracy. We're still going to go to the Bali IIT. I'm going to carry my survivor's guilt with me to continue our mission in Bali. And so if you want to join us, we'd love to have you. I think there's a few seats left. Any of the people that come to this call will be joining us there. And somebody had their hand. Yeah, Tracy, did you have something you wanted to share?
I did. It's just that link for the Maui Food Bank. I don't know if you can see this. I had started to go to do it, and it's down. It can't be found.
Huh. Let me go try it again. I'm going to go straight. I've got it up on my I'll just give you the link that I
To
have.
donate, yeah.
So it's active on my computer right now. It could be something that is, maybe they're overwhelmed with love at the moment, or maybe there's something going on with the internet, but you could always try later. This is how I gave earlier, so it should work.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's the same.
I'll go ahead and
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering if like there's gonna be the after party, if I could be put in a room with Sue and Kinneret.
Sure.
Thank you.
I will do that right now. We'll make 2 rooms. That's usually what it ends up being at first. And you can remind me who you said just a second as soon as I do this. You'll be put into a room you don't have to go. And so Harmony goes with, who did you say?
Kinneret and Sue.
Sue. Great.
Sarvarna.
Yes. Okay, great. All right.
Thanks.
Yep. So see you all next week. We don't know what we're going to do then. We're playing it by ear, but we'll find some way to get together and love one another. That much I can promise you. All right. Aloha, everybody.
Aloha.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Aloha.
Mm.
Aloha.